Loaded the backpack up already. You don't want to measure your backpack when it's empty or you're not going to get the right measurement. So around the width I've got about 38 inches, and once again I'm going to add, say, 4 inches, so I have 42 inches. So for this Alice pack I've got 40 by 42, and to be safe you might, instead of adding 4 inches, you might add 8 inches. So then I have 44 by 46 is my measurement. Richard's already cut this netting, and this is about a 40 by 48 inch piece of netting. It's cinched up because he's already threaded through this elastic material, and you're gonna need to get about 3 feet, 4 feet of elastic material for this. Once again, we have the shock cord that we can use, and you can get this black, or we have this 1/2 inch elastic band, and you can also get this in black and use this as well.
Make sure and tie off one end so you don't go around 5 times. Tie off one end and then just thread it through right along the edge. I like to cheat in one too, so that in case it breaks at some point.
You don't tie off, all of a sudden this end is going to start following you through, and you're going to lose your thread. You've kind of got now this kind of this bag type effect, so that this is going to go around the exterior of your backpack, and then you're going to cinch down. So you bring around the back of it, all the way around it, and over the lip. And you can see that it's a real nice fit. Now with backpacks, if you've got like a backpacking backpack, one that has a high upper mound, then this is going to fit over nicely. However, these that have the straps right here at the top, you've got the problem that this is going to slip off. So what you do is you get a bungee cord. We've used this shock cord, and we've tied it into these two hooks to have a little custom bungee. But you can get a regular bungee cord. You're going to thread underneath the straps and hook in. And this will keep it from going over. And this is what we call a camo pack. So now we're going to start tying in the burlap, and we're going to tie the burlap in with it on the backpack. Reason being, the camouflage is going to hang down, and so we're going to need to add more to the top and less on the bottom, because the stuff will drape down. You might want to use a loose knot, because if you get out in the field, and when we get out in the field we're going to see if this stuff works, if it's a tight knot and we want to do any adjustments, if we want to move the camouflage from point to point, or if we want to just get rid of the camouflage, it won't be so hard. So initially we're just going to use a kind of a loose overhand knot. Also, when you're tying in your burlap, it's nice to tie in 1/3 the way of your burlap, so that way you've got a smaller piece that kind of hangs out more, and then a longer piece that drapes down. Or what you can do is cut your burlap in half and tie in a smaller piece, say a 6 to 8 inch piece. What you do is, since it's smaller, it sticks up farther. We like to use the smaller pieces on the top portion. This gives kind of more of a mounding quality to the top, whereas on the bottom you can just drape it down and get more coverage. So Richard's done a stand-up job over here, haven't you?
Thank you.
He's kind of got this light green with a tan mixed in. Now he's going to take his darker browns and blacks. He's going to start tying them into general areas. So you'll probably take blacks and browns, tie here, 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 make a big black area and brown area over here, and then maybe one over here. So it kind of breaks up this general coloration you got going. But he's got it. You can see that this string is a bit straight. In time, the string's going to curl. If you want more curl right away, you can just take a spritzer bottle, a little spray bottle or some water and just put some water on the stuff, and these fibers are going to get a little larger and they're going to swell and they're going to uncurl a bit, and as they uncurl they're going to start making all these weird shapes that are quite nice. These bush patches, what they're primarily used for, and what we also recommend doing, is to iron them onto your BDUs. You get 10 patches for a pack, and you iron them on to your high shoulder area, to your sleeve, top sleeve, onto the upper back. Once again over here, high on the chest, upper sleeve, on the back. And you can actually, if you've got your shooting arm holding the front part of your rifle, you might put a bush patch over here. I've got this beat up old boonie, and I've placed 3 bush patches. One on the front, and then one here on the side, and another one on the side. You can also put one on the back. Now with these bush patches in place, once again you're going to iron them on. You stick in natural vegetation. And you're going to take your hat, and you're just going to start stuffing in these little branches into the elastic bands. So pretty soon, you can see it's quite easy to really start to camouflage your gear. And this vegetation held by these elastic bands really stays in place. So within, 20-30 seconds, you've already done a pretty good job on your head. Now if you don't want to go out and spend $12 for a bush patch, you're going to get your elastic material, and you're going to cut 3-inch pieces, a whole bunch of them, and then you're going to sew these suckers into place. And when you sew them, you're going to want to have 2 of them side by side so that the vegetation, as in with these bush patches, you can stick through 2 pieces of elastics. That really holds the vegetation in place. You want vegetation that's just going to droop, hang wherever. You want it in a very specific place that's effective. Once again, this is time consuming, and these bush patches really work. So the first thing we're going to field test is going to be these bush patches. So we're getting some natural vegetation. In this case we're getting pine. And we're going to add these to these patches, see how well they work. It's natural vegetation. I'm kind of putting through both those elastic bands. And here I have a design which is just 1 bar of elastic. So you see how quickly this stuff works. I'm not using both bands to tie in this stuff all the time. You can just use 1 band if you like. And we've got the headgear. Once again, we've got 4 patches for the headgear. And some of these boonies hats come with that band that encircles it. This one doesn't. That band is pretty good for putting in natural vegetation, but it doesn't have that elasticity that will hold it in place. So you lose a lot of vegetation that you put in those holes. And they also don't stick straight up, which is kind of a nice option to have. So on the clock, I'm gearing up for about, I'd say, 3 minutes. If you want to take some camouflage and hang it down, you've got that head-shoulder area that you want to cover. Sticking that stuff in, kind of letting it drop down. And I want to cover some in the front area. So stick vegetation there. Granted, his face hasn't been camoed, but you can see that his upper body, head, shoulders are pretty much well blended into the natural background. Once again, you can have patches that are further down on the torso. You can have these patches